Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Anna, and this is my first ever video. And today I am here to talk about 10 ways to stop overthinking. Overthinking not only leads to analysis paralysis and poor choices, it can also be incredibly detrimental to our mental health. It can create actual physical exhaustion, and it negatively just impacts our overall quality of life. Not to mention, it's also a waste of our precious, precious time. So, let's get started. If you catch yourself wandering down one of these paths of overthinking, try pausing and asking yourself, what's the point of me thinking about this? What do I want to get out of this? What purpose do I want this to serve? And if the purpose is to understand, then try challenging yourself even further by asking yourself, why? Why do I want to understand this? What will I do with that understanding? And if the intent is to explore every possible outcome, then perhaps try asking yourself, does this even matter? And does coming up with all of these hypothetical outcomes matter enough to spend your very non-hypothetical, very real time on? I think asking yourself these questions can help clarify if your brain is mindlessly just occupying itself to keep itself busy, or if there's a legitimate reason to continue down this thought path, train of thought. Another thing that I find helpful is having a list of other things to do already ready for when the overthinking hits. If overthinking is the default and therefore so easy to fall into, it's nice to be able to quickly refer to a pre-made list to override this tendency with little to no effort. This go-to list is going to look different for everybody, but the important thing is that it is immediate, it's easy, and it's fun to do. So eat a handful of frozen blueberries, put on some music, and have an impromptu dance party. Or maybe it's on your list to make another list. Whatever floats your boat. Having thoughts, and then having thoughts and judgments about those thoughts, and then trying to battle and stop those thoughts, it's just all so exhausting. It's like thrashing around all of your limbs in a swimming pool when you don't know how to swim, but you're trying to freestyle. Anybody who has ever tried this knows how exhausting and futile this is. The thing is, as Eckhart Tolle says in his classic book, The Power of Now, the mind loves being occupied. It loves having a problem to solve. It loves thrashing. He says, just because you can solve a crossword puzzle or build an atom bomb doesn't mean that you use your mind. Just as dogs love to chew bones, the mind loves to get its teeth into problems. That's why it does crossword puzzles and builds atom bombs. You have no interest in either. Andy Puddicombe, the founder of the Headspace meditation app, has this great little short animation where he talks about observing your thoughts the way that you would observe the traffic of cars going by, but without trying to direct and control the traffic itself, no matter how much you may want to. It isn't your job to be a traffic cop and try to control any of the chaos that you might be seeing on the road or to place any judgment on what's happening in front of you. Instead, think of yourself as someone who is simply sitting on the side of the road and just taking it all in. Changing your perspective to that of a passive observer, I think, alleviates a lot of the cognitive load that comes from active overthinking. Your thoughts are so much easier to be around when you're just casually looking at them rather than trying to rein them in and get them under your control. On a similar note, a technique that I find helpful is looking at my thoughts as if I'm watching a movie. In his book, Mind Hacking, How to Change Your Brain for Good in 21 Days, the author John Hargrave talks about how when you go to a movie, you watch the title sequence, the opening credits, the first scenes, and you know that you're watching a movie. But if it's a good movie and you get super into it, then you can quickly get lost in the movie and lose your perspective as a viewer. You become absorbed in it. To quote John Hargrave, "But the mind is no ordinary movie. It's a 3D IMAX, Oculus Rift, full-on sense surround with THX Epic beamed directly into your head. And it's been playing since birth. So it's no wonder that we're so accustomed to watching it. It's a lifetime habit. And no one's ever told us, hey, you're watching a movie." See, that's the thing. Our mind is always playing a movie. We're never actually in it. And because it seems so realistic, it's incredibly easy to get super absorbed in it and forget that it's a movie. But remember, it is always a movie. Our thoughts are not reality. Here's an exercise. Try shifting your viewing style so that you're watching your mind movie with the same distance and passive curiosity as you would watch a movie that you're interested in, but you're not completely absorbed in. You're aware that you are sitting in a theater, you're staring at a projection screen, and you are watching the scenes unfold. Eckhart Tolle would call this watching the thinker. If you can shift your viewing style to that of a passive movie watcher, then you'll remember that anything that's happening on the screen isn't impacting you in your actual life. And also remember, you can leave the theater whenever you want to. As far as ways to train your mind to be that passive traffic observer or casual movie watcher, I think that meditation is a great tool. Meditation gets mentioned a lot, I think, when it comes to anything related to personal development. And because there's so much information already out there, I'm not going to get too into it here. The meditation is brought up a lot for good reason. Recognizing these thoughts right when they come up and already having mechanisms in place to deal with them can help them from spiraling out of control. I personally practice both mindfulness meditation and transcendental meditation. One of the quickest ways I found to break the pattern of overthinking is to bring myself back into the present moment. Since all of this thinking is happening in our heads, our minds are either thinking about something that has already happened in the past or about something that may happen in the future. Bringing ourselves back into the present moment and just looking around and feeling and being here is an effective way to disrupt that reverie. As Eckhart Tolle says, realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. The eternal present is the space within which your whole life unfolds, the one factor that remains constant. Life is now. There was never a time when your life was not now. nor will there ever be. If you're ever up for a challenge, in his mind hacking book, John Hargrave presents a bunch of different mind training games to help develop your concentration and being in the now skills. One of the games to help train your brain to be present is where you spend a day asking yourself as frequently as possible, what was my mind just thinking? And then tallying up how many times you were able to check in with your mind and recall what you had just been thinking about. And then at the end of the day, you record your final score. By the way, John Hargrave very generously made an online version of his book available for free under the open source Creative Commons license. I have included the link to his free version down below, in addition to links if you want to purchase the Kindle version, audiobook, or physical copies. I'm also including links to Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now and Andy Puttycomb's Headspace meditation app if you are interested in learning more about either. Box breathing or square breathing or 4444 breathing is a technique where you breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, you hold it there for 4 seconds, you then exhale through your nose for 4 seconds, and then you hold the emptiness in your lungs for 4 seconds. And you repeat this cycle as many times as you want or need to. So this technique was popularized by the Navy SEALs, and I love it because 1, it's super simple. 2, it works immediately to relax the body. And 3, it helps to bring your mind back into the present moment because you need to use your mind to concentrate on your breath counts. I personally use box breathing to help me stop overthinking, to activate my parasympathetic nervous system when I'm in stressful situations, and also to help me fall asleep at night. Tip number 8 is to do something. You might be thinking that by thinking, you will eventually gain some kind of insight into your life or your problem. But overthinking is not the same thing as planning or solving a problem. So if you are going to actively think and analyze, then try doing so with the intention to make a plan or to solve a specific part of a problem. You can try journaling about it, whiteboard it, lucid chart it, Asana board it, whatever. But just make a plan and take some kind of action. If you have a trusted somebody that you feel comfortable confiding in, a lot of people find comfort in communicating their thoughts and feelings to another person. Whether that person is a trusted friend or family member, you go to an online forum, or you speak directly with a therapist. The most important things are that you feel safe and you don't feel pressured to share more than you feel comfortable sharing. And the person that you are communicating to is not an enabler that is going to just pull you deeper into a spiral. One thing to remember if you are a chronic overthinker is that your mind has been down this road many, many times before. So those tire tracks, they run deep. Please give yourself some grace. Rather than using this time to berate yourself for overthinking yet again, or for wasting your time thinking about something so stupid, try giving yourself props for recognizing this pattern in yourself and for making the effort to disrupt these tendencies that were once on autopilot. You can then make the decision to switch to doing something else, or if you do decide to keep thinking about this thing, then at least you can do it being consciously aware that you are choosing to do so, rather than your mind stealing this time and energy away from you unawares. Self-compassion has been really helpful for me personally when it comes to working with my own overthinking tendencies, along with some other things. And surprisingly, I'm discovering that self-compassion is helping to build both momentum and resilience, which is really lovely. This is a fairly new practice for me, and it's not coming super naturally. So I'm finding that it's something I have to continuously work at, remind myself, and develop. So if you find that self-compassion is not coming super naturally to you either, I would just say, just keep trying and just keep doing the best that you can. As Kris Jenner would say, you're doing amazing, sweetie. This video ended up being longer than I thought it would be. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. These tips continue to help me through some difficult times, and I hope that at least some of them are helpful to you too. If you have any questions or comments or topics that you would like to see covered, or tips of your own that you would like to share, please feel welcome to leave them in the comments below or reach out to me directly. My plan is to release a video every 2 weeks. So if you enjoyed this one, I hope that you will like it and subscribe. All right. Thank you so much again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.